Hey guys, Denise with Lazy K Homestead. Well, we are going to make some pickled beets. I picked some up at the farmer's market yesterday, and they're just beautiful beets, and I've got them blanching right now. I'm going to put them in some cold water in a few minutes, and then we will carry on with pickling some beets. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so I've got the beets are cooling, and I wanted to show you guys a really easy way to peel your beets. All you have to do is they're a little warm, but you can handle them, and they're not hot, but you can just peel it like that instead of slicing and losing a lot of your beet. See, you just go like this, super easy. And then when they are completely cool, we will start the pickling process. But I just thought that was a great tip. Okay guys, and as you've seen, I have my beets. They're washed, peeled, and cooled and easy to handle. Look how beautiful that beet is. These are medium sized beets. Let me put my tripod down so you can see what I'm going to do. There we go. And this recipe is from the Ball Blue Book, and I like that recipe. I think it's really good. The only thing I do different is I use pickling spice instead of all the spices separate because I like the taste. So as you can see, I'm just cutting these in bite-sized chunks. And if you want to, you can slice them whatever your heart desires as far as shape goes. And I'm just going to go ahead and put all these in a pan right here. Kind of don't have enough room, but we'll work it out. So now if you have the little top there where the beet greens were, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off. It is edible, but I'm not going to use it in my beets. Now I cooked these last night, and I went ahead and put them in the fridge because I was running late. We were baking bread at the same time. So that is something you can do too. You just go ahead and cool everything in the fridge. Now this is a large beet. Look at that beauty. We got these at the farmer's market. And they were really reasonable. I got them for $3 a bunch. And these are beautiful. They're so tender when I cook them. And you do want to cook them till they are tender. I think I said the other day or yesterday rather, you blanching them, but you are cooking them till they're tender. Because you don't want a hard beet. You wouldn't be able to eat it. Okay. Now, if you wanted them to be this size or you wanted slices, like I said, it's whatever you guys choose for your personal eating. I just think these are pretty. I would have got started earlier today, but we had things to do. We had to clean house and had to go in the pool. When you put a pool up, above ground pool, that is 18 feet by 4 feet. And we are really enjoying that pool. As you've seen, the granddaughters are here. They are enjoying it. Even in the rain. I could just eat these chunks because I love beets. I just love them plain. But we like to have pickled beets at Christmas and Thanksgiving with our meal. It's just a nice treat. Something that's been carried on through the generations with both Willis and my families. My dad used to be able to grow the most wonderful beets. We haven't perfected beet growing yet. I don't know why, but um, we keep trying every year. I don't know what we're doing wrong. So, any of you guys out there have any tips on beet growing, let me know. We get them up, we thin them. Um, we've got nice soil to where they have room to grow and expand, but it's like they just stop growing. So I'm trying to do my research on growing beets. Everybody can learn something. We'll get a nice pan full here of beets. See if I can get these out. Some of these are a little small here at the end. But still, they're beautiful. The color. I think she said these were Detroit red. These beets. So, all right, let me just scoot up here. I don't want them to fall in the sink. These are going to be in pint jars. I've got my pint jar soaking over here. As soon as I get these last two cut up, we will go ahead and we will put together the brine for this pickling brine, and that's what you're going to can it in, is that brine. And it's really good. It's a sweet pickling brine. And I think I picked the pickling spice up at Rural King, and it was just regular pickling spice. Okay, there we go with that. You just wash my hands really quick. Now your hands are going to stain a little bit, and if you want to use gloves, that's up to you, but there's my hands. And we've got beautiful beets. Let me get out of see that? Okay, let me back this up, and then I'm going to show you what I've got. Everything ready. And we'll put our beets over here. Beautiful beets. Let's see if I can get that so you guys can see this a little bit better. And I've got a little juice. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there because beet juice is really nice and thick, and you want that for sure. Okay, like I said, this recipe is basically from the Ball Blue Book. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put 2.5 cups of white vinegar in on your beets, and we need 1.5 cups of water, just plain water, right in there. Two cups of white sugar, and we want 3 teaspoons of pickling spice. Or if you want, you can add the spices of your choice, like this calls for cinnamon sticks, mustard seed, allspice, and whole cloves. But this has everything I want in it. So okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. Yeah, just like that. Okay, and you just add all that in there. And you just mix it around like so. The onions will turn a really pretty pink. And you just let this come to a boil. And then we are going to let it come to a boil, reduce heat, and then we'll simmer it for 5 minutes. So when we get to that point, I'll be back. Okay, guys, we've got our beets and our onions and our brine all, it came to a boil. And we're going to go ahead and boil that for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. We've had our beet mixture boiled for 5 minutes. I've got my jars all prepped and ready to go using pints. And this is going to take a boiling water bath. And so that's what this canner is, boiling water bath. And I've got my water in here. And when you do boiling water bath, after you've got your jars in here, you want to make sure that it's at least 1 inch over your jars before you start processing. And let me just see here how long they take. 30 minutes. So it'll be 30 minutes in the boiling water bath. So let's get over here and start filling our jars. Let me get this tripod down so you can see. Got my canner. I've got my lid over here. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and take a ladle. And you kind of want to get as many beets in as you can. Let me get a spoon here and knock them down. And then you can put the brine in afterwards. Good thing this has a little handle on here because it is hot. And you want to leave a 1/2 inch headspace, and that is per the Ball Jar Canning book recipe. Always make sure that you look and know what your headspace is. Okay. Now that went ahead and gave me a lot of juice in there, so I don't think I'm going to have to add any more juice. And this already has 1 teaspoon of salt in it, so you don't have to add any salt to these jars because the brine is already made. Now I will have to add some juice to that jar there when we get to that point. And I go back and check them all. And I just love this with all these yummy onions in here. Oh man, so good. And I'll have to add some to that one too. But this is all you do. You just fill your jars, leaving a 1/2 inch headspace. And when the last one's filled, I need a little bit more in there. This should give me about, I don't know, 6 or 7 pints. And that's, I believe, what my boiling water bath canner will hold. I've got a rack in here. Let me show you that rack. Now, I found this boiling water bath canner at the thrift store for $10. Perfect shape. Came with the lid. Perfect shape. If you guys don't mind using used, that is the way to go because you can be frugal. Because why pay $100 if you don't have to, if it's in perfectly good shape? That's the way I look at things. The one I had been using, I was given a long time ago, and it had a little hole in it, and we kept fixing the hole, to finally we just couldn't fix it anymore. So I have it outside on a tree stump that we took down a tree, and I use it as a planter now, and I have my impatiens in it. So I think it looks pretty neat because I like to use old stuff like that. I think it gives character. And I know where it came from, and it actually meant a lot to me because the lady that gave it to me was very old. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and shoot for 7. Set these aside. Now remember, this is very hot, so I want you to be careful when you're filling your jars. And this is a hot pack because it is hot. I've got my canner simmering over there, and I will probably have to add some hot water on top because it probably won't be an inch over, but you need to add hot water, not cold, when you're filling that up. Okay. Alrighty. So now we're just going to go back and we're just going to take juice, the brine here, and we're just going to fill up the ones that need to be filled up. Like I said, some of them were fine, and you can see where I'm filling it up. Okay. Oh gosh, this smells so good. I just love pickled beets. I just think they're such a treat. They're an old-fashioned kind of recipe too. I know my great-granny always had them. Okay, let me grab a paper towel. And what you're going to want to do next is you're going to go around the top rim and around where your ring and lid's going to be, and you're going to wipe that down. Now this does have sugar in it, and you especially want to make sure that you don't have any kind of the brine, because it has sugar, because it may prevent it from sealing. That's what I was always told, and I've been canning for a long time, and so I just figure I will just go with that. Okay, that one's a little full. I'll go ahead and put that in there. Okay, so there we are, and now we're going to go ahead and get our lids, and I'm just going to separate them there, one on each jar, like so. I think I've got 7 of them in there, I hope. Yep. Actually, I had 8, so 1 for good measure. And then we're going to take our rings, and we're just going to go ahead and put these on here, and then I'm going to hand tighten each one of them. You do not want to make these so tight that you can't take them off, because what happens when you're canning, pressure canning or water bath, is these rings expand and contract. Expand and contract. Okay, let me rinse that one off. Hot water. Okay, and they're all ready, and you just go ahead and hand tighten. Now this may be a little hot, and if that is the case, just take a tea towel and just hold the jar as you're tightening it, because you do want it hand tightened. And after you are finished canning and you're bringing them out of your canner and putting it on your tea towel to cool, you do not want to retighten. Sometimes they will be very loose, and you don't want to retighten them. Okay, so let's back this up over here to our canner. And I'm going to use my canning tongs because they are hot. And we're just going to go ahead and place these jars in here. Now, if you don't have a basket inside your water bath canner, you're going to want to put a tea towel down, because they will be boiling and they will be kind of going back and forth, and you don't want them to tip over or have any reason to possibly break. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what that looks like in there. And I just put my little arms down here because that's just a good way to ensure that they don't go anywhere. Okay, there you go. Okay, now like I said, we are going to have to add water till it's about an inch above these jars. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'm going to put hot water in there. Let me get my hot water in my sink on. And let me find my little pitcher. Well, this right here is some hot water. Sometimes I'll just add the water that I have from the jars because it is hot water from the jars too. But with pints, it's kind of a limited amount. And we are just adding this water until it is 1 inch above. And that's very important with water bath canning. When you're pressure canning, it's a whole different animal. So try not to get the two mixed up because you want to be able to have the seal, and it's a lot of work. Canning is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. But you want to make sure that you've got it done. And like I said, there's a lot of people in the canning and homestead groups, and I'm on Facebook. And there's some people that are afraid to start canning because it is a little intimidating. But like I said, just read your manual, especially for pressure canning and water bath canning. And we've got that filled up there. See, and it's 1 inch above there. And I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on. I've got this, I'm going to turn this up to just about high. When it starts to have a rolling boil is when you're going to time it. And you may have to back the heat off a little, the heat off a little bit up here on your knob, because you don't want it to be like crazy, but you want it to be boiling and have a boil going through there. Not a simmer, but a boil. But anyways, what I want to tell you about, you guys, when you're first starting canning, you want to make sure you give yourself, be patient with yourself. That's the most important thing. We all had to learn at one point. And we want to be able to not be overwhelmed, and you want to be able to be successful in what you're doing. And that's very important, to give yourself some patience, give yourself some love. So I hope that you guys will find this video informative, and I will be back as soon as we get to a rolling boil to show you what I mean. Okay, here we are, and we've got our water bath canner starting to come to a boil. And I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for 30 minutes with the lid on. And then we will be back to show you what it looks like when they're all done. So we'll see you in a few. Bye. Okay, so we have had this time for 30 minutes. You see it's still steaming. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to carefully take off the lid. And I'm putting a tea towel over it so you can take it off without burning yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this cool down. And guys, that is pretty much it for water bath canning beets today. You just want to let it cool till the jars can come out. Now I've got air conditioning going on in the house, so I'm going to let mine cool pretty long in here, because you don't want that cold air to hit that hot jar, because you could have an accident. I usually let it cool till that water's about lukewarm, and then I pull my stuff out, because I don't want any accidents, like I said, with AC. All right, well, y'all have a great day from Lazy K Homestead. Hope you enjoyed, and the last picture you see will be the jars on the tea towels. Have a great day. Bye.